Professor Brain Brown's research shows that vulnerability fosters good emotional and mental health. It is a sign of courage. We become more resilient and brave when we embrace who we truly are and what we are feeling. The Vulnerable Scientist podcast is a space for scientists to tell their honest and authentic stories. I am your host, Sarah Nyakeri, who happens to be a scientist, informal science communicator, and I help scientists create personal websites. If you want to support this show, go to www.patreon.com/thevulnerable-scientist. You can also follow this podcast on all social media platforms at TV Scientist Pod. So you've talked about you being a scientist, you taking us through your career journey, and moving from one research kind to another, then the things that you've involved in, and now you're currently in the UK. So what I'm kind of trying to see, what are the things that you have done over the years that have nothing to do with science, that have kept you to have that balance? I don't know. Is it a balance? I don't know. People have different notions. Like, what do you do when you're not being paid to do that?
You mean kept me sane?
Yes.
So many things. So sports or exercise. So I always try and find time for that physical activity. I love playing sports. So my game is badminton, and I really enjoy that. Played it quite seriously, and I love the game. But I dabbled in tennis and squash. At Ilri there's a squash court, so I used to play with some colleagues sometimes then. And
what is squash?
And all that. Squash? What is squash?
Yeah.
Squash is like it's a racket game that you hit a ball against a wall, and it comes back to you, and the opponent has to hit. And you've never seen squash?
No.
I think yeah, it's like tennis, but you hit a wall.
Oh, you're playing with a wall.
You hit a wall. The ball then bounces back
to someone
the
else.
other person.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So it's like tennis, but it's not on the. Oh, okay. It's not.
And it's played indoors. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a place for squash in Ilri.
Yes. Yep.
Where?
Yeah. Where the second set of houses are, between where the playground is.
The football.
Yeah, and there's a little house where the kind of separate from the other houses are, in line with football.
Next to the ATF.
No, on the other side.
On the other
diagonally
side.
Opposite. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. A little house. Is that a little house?
It's a big one. Okay, there's 2 squash courts in there.
Oh, I was asking someone just the other day, what is in that building?
You should just walk in. Yeah, that's where that's where back in the day we used to play squash, and then people used to have do weights outside, and we used to go for a run as well. There was a group at Ilri, so we'd go to, as a group for lunchtime runs around Udiru and the university, and there was the changing rooms in there. So that used to, before the nice fancy gym came in. That's where we used to do exercise. And there was a time when we had yoga in there. We'd have an external teacher, and a few of us would do yoga to lunch times. So sports is one thing. And it's very important, I think, to have like that physical kind of outlet.
Why?
To just keep your body in good health, because if you've got a good body, it helps you sleep, it helps you eat, keeps things in check. And then the other thing I do is meditate.
Okay.
And then I play music.
Which kind?
So for quite a few years, I was doing singing,
Mm-hmm.
like semi-professional singing. So I used to Bollywood type of singing. So
Wow.
I would I know not in Bollywood, but I would sing for like functions, family functions, or weddings, or birthdays, or things like that. More
I
traditional type
never
of singing.
pictured you as a singer. Like,
Yeah, I've sang in a few albums as well,
wow.
locally produced albums,
Mm,
but religious type.
okay.
Um, so yeah, so that and now I decided to learn the piano.
Uh-huh.
My daughter was interested, so her and myself we do we take piano lessons. We share a piano lesson each, and we do our practices and all that
That
when I'm in
sounds
Kenya.
fun. That's fun. That sounds fun.
It's really difficult.
I thought it would
it's
be
it,
fun when doing it with your daughter.
yeah, no, it's fun. Like, well,
Mm-hmm.
um, she has her own class and her own tunes to learn,
Mm.
and I have my own. So we don't have the same
Oh,
tunes. We have the same teacher,
okay.
but we're taught from the same stage. So I don't know how to read music. I don't know anything about Western music theory.
Mm,
I know a little bit about Indian music theory, but not about
mm,
Western music theory. So
mm,
it's a we're learning the same basics, just the tunes are different. But
mm,
it's really difficult for me to learn because now at my age, yeah, learn it. It's like learning a new language,
mm.
and you have to play with your left, and you have to play with your right hand,
At the
and you have
same
to
time.
read these foreign symbols
Mm.
and all that. So it's hard, but it's fun. I really enjoy it. I've always wanted to learn how to play an instrument
I
um,
did music in
properly.
school, so that's why I relate. But I didn't like, I tried to do the piano, but the coordination was, I could play with one hand like continuously, but I couldn't
Mhm.
play with the other hand together with his hand. Like,
Mhm.
it
Yeah, so
meant
you get
work.
my yeah, you get the pain. But I find the more I practice, the better
Mm-hmm.
I become.
Yeah,
So
it's doable.
it's just the hours I have to put in to get
Practice.
to to get to a bearable stage.
Bearable.
Yeah, bearable by myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What else?
What else? I think that's it. Music, meditation, sports, or yoga, some sort of physical exercise. Um, yeah, I think those are the main things that I try and keep up with. That I would miss if I didn't do them
Mm,
on a regular basis. Other things like watching TV or going out for dinner, or those things are really I can drop, but they don't. I mean, they don't have any significant impact on my reading. Perhaps, yeah,
mm.
reading is really important.
What are you currently reading? Why did you
Um,
laugh?
'cause, um, I'm reading a book about raising children.
Oh,
Um, it's about how not to raise badly behaved children.
oh, okay.
So
Then why
it's
did you
to
laugh?
because I don't know. It's just, okay. The title is not exactly that. It's the title is a bit it's a bit rude. So
Mm-hmm.
so I've just paraphrased the title.
Why?
I,
Okay. Why you don't want to share the book?
I want to share the okay.
Mm.
Sure. It's called How Not to Raise Kids That Are Arseholes.
Oh, okay. Now I see why
It,
you
yeah.
laughed. What?
It's a really good book. We have not. done parenting before, so we would like to know as much as possible what has been tried and tested and scientifically tested and proven and to work and to raise good kids.
Do you think being a scientist makes you look for things that have been scientifically proven?
Definitely. I'm afraid I am one of those that it'd be painful to have me at a dinner conversation because I'd ask for proofs, or I'd ask for, I don't know, some backing evidence, or that yeah yeah. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think every lay person needs to have some sort of understanding of science or scientific training, because I think as we've seen with the pandemic, it's really important to understand how science works and how experiments work, and how biases work, because that's like what should you look out for in information and misinformation? How do you sift misinformation from good information? And those things kind of we're not naturally attuned to that. I don't think as humans, but but those skills are they go a long way in one's well-being. I think, like even normal day-to-day stuff. Like what car do you buy? How do you decide on that? The decisions that you make for everyday life. Is my rent affordable, for example, or if you have a mortgage, is that affordable, or is this, can I afford this pair of shoes? It's just really basic things. Or why am I judging this person? I think I think as people, we should be take that that kind of training a bit more seriously. And that probably falls on our education institutes, not at high level. I think the sooner we start at primary or secondary levels is important. Statistics, why isn't statistics taught in secondary school when it's like the basic, really fundamental method for everything? I think everything we do or we will do in life, in growing when we're grown up, will involve decision making, which will require some sort of a statistical evaluation, or should require some sort of statistical evaluation. Okay, not things like who do you fall in love with, or matters of the heart, or art, or those things, but like economic decisions, health decisions.
Because the statistics I remember, it was very basic, and it was just when finishing off. It was one of the final topics, I think, in maths. Yeah, but it was very basic, introductory statistics. Yeah,
that's great. And this was in high school for you?
Yeah, but it was very basic. Like, it's not, I can't remember what it was even, but I remember a topic in statistics and questions in that paper too.
That's great. I don't remember. I think maybe I was probably a few years old. I am a few years older than you, and I don't remember statistics ever featuring in my mathematics studies.
Yeah, it was very basic for us. I don't know if it was if it was different. I don't know. Okay. So thanks for sharing your story and your perspectives and your life on this podcast. So
it's been a pleasure.
Is there anything that you would like to add, or a question that you would have loved me to ask you but I didn't ask, or a topic that you would like to talk about but I didn't talk about it, or I didn't bring it up?
I guess the only thing, and your other guests may have already covered this because it's really a salient topic and a really big a really big gap that we have recently noticed is the issue of mentorship in your professional career. I think I won't belabor this, but I just wanted to mention that how if it's really important to find good mentors and have a good. I can't say I have had any mentors actually in my career, but I think I have always sought mentors through various schemes, even offered to mentor when I was studying. I offered to mentor little children. So, but I think I think mentorship is extremely important, and that very little mentorship is being done in our institutes, and it's highly undervalued. But I don't know if anybody can be a mentor. I think people need to, I think some basic training needs to be
on how to be a mentor.
Be a mentor needs, yeah. I think so. And I mean, I would love to go on a training like that to be able to mentor people. Although, I mean, I don't think if the self-doubt of why would anybody want me to mentor them always creeps in. But other people are more confident. So don't so if you have opportunities to find mentors, do go seek them out. I think there are even like some online services, web-based services that find mentors that match you all around the world. Like it doesn't even have to be somebody in your institute that you could sign up for. I think.
Which one?
I don't know actually. I remember looking into this before and coming across some sites where you could but I don't, maybe it was through some organizations like bodies, societies or something. But I don't know. But I mean, I'll be surprised if there aren't mentorship schemes out there for public access.
So
in this day and age, anyway.
I don't know. We talk about mentorship a lot, but we never really say what it is. Like, what should people be expecting from a mentor, or what should they be looking for in a mentor? Like, I don't know if I've had that discussion.
Yeah, I'm not the best person to answer that, I don't think, because I also don't have a clear idea. But I know what I would like to have in a mentor. I could speak to that, which is it would be how to make career choices, or how do you, for example, we talked about like all these what are the choices available for me with a master's in bioinformatics. If I had a mentor, a well read, or a mentor with wide exposure, they may have pointed out to me that you don't need to do a PhD. You can do X, Y, and Z instead, and that may have opened doors for me. Or if I was decided to do a PhD, then they may have pointed out the pros and cons, or the discipline that you need to put in, or things you need to look out for when you're choosing a PhD group, or it's things like that. Or maybe even have a just somebody to talk about work with, not just your colleagues, but somebody in a different setting, or or in a set in your same setting, but has already passed the levels that you will be going through, and can reflect back and advise you on, well, try and put this in place, or try and do this, so that you're prepared for the next step, or or don't do this because it's not worth your time, or things like that. I think I would really like to have somebody, a candid conversation with somebody higher up, more senior than me.
Candid conversation. I think that's it, right? Like, if you could be able to have an open and honest and authentic and
no frills attached kind of conversation,
Yes.
like I just because you're my mentor, I do not expect you to find me a job,
yes,
or write or solve my research project or problem for me. No,
yeah,
it's like it's an ear, or it's like a big brother or a big sister,
yes, yeah. I've been talking about mentorship, but I've never really thought about, like, what am I expecting from a mentor, and what kind of conversations am I hoping for from that person.
And I don't think you're alone. I've had a mentor before, like signed up for a mentor, but it was really hard to start off, like to start a conversation. Or what should I be asking? What can I ask? Am I just wasting this person's time? There's always that doubt of this really important person who's doing important things and super busy, kind of. But no, if that was, it's just misplaced, that thought. If somebody has signed up for mentorship, they signed up knowing that it's time consuming, or they have X amount of time to give to this cause. Yeah. But I think being a mentor helps one understand what you want out of mentorship. I would suspect that's the way it helps. When if you put yourself in
as a mentor,
you learn both ways, I think, as a mentee, and how to mentor. It's a relationship.
As you said before, I think it's important also to offer training on how to seek for a mentor and how to be a mentor, like on both ways. Some sort of, I don't know how that can happen, but I think it's important to have that, because we talk about it, but we don't know how. Like, how do you point out what's the best kind of, and even boundaries when it comes to mentorship, also, like the things after mentorship, the things that come with it, how to. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for bringing this up. You wanted to say something?
No, that's it. No, that was.
Okay. Last question. How do you feel after having this conversation? This long conversation.
I know. It's almost 10 o'clock, which is close to my bedtime here. So I'm feeling quite tired, but I feel you've
Tired.
made me. No, I feel a bit alive as well, like energized, in that you've made me revisit some old memories, and made me think as well. I've had a chance to reflect on some things and think some things anew, and it's been great.